All right.
Hey, I'm back.
Billy's back on this side of the earth.
Back on the this side of the equator, this
Yeah.
side of the earth, everything.
Hell yeah.
Back in the summer, I had to cut my sleeves off. It's so fucking hot over here. Holy shit! What a difference.
So that was a one of my first questions when he got here was what about that heat? Because it was wintertime for you over there.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Renee just messaged me earlier over there, and she said they're calling for snow. So I got out just in time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the snow. So in where they're at, I'm sure it looks badass in the snow.
Yeah.
It's like big hills, like rolling, like mountainous type hills and stuff. So I'm sure it looks badass. But I only packed hoodies, again for the second year in a row. I had a little more long sleeve stuff this year. But yeah, it was it got fucking cold over there a few times. I have about 4 layers, t-shirt, long sleeve, hoodie, jacket. Like,
Do they have enough cold weather? Do they have snowmobiles?
I didn't see nobody with snowmobiles, but I think somebody told me that it hadn't snowed over there in the last couple of years. So I'd assume it's kind of like maybe like North Texas here, where they do get some snow a little more regular than we do here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cold over there though, right this time of year. I mean, this is kind of the beginning of their winter. I don't know exactly how cold it gets, but I know several mornings when I was there, it was frost on the ground in the mornings. It'd be like 2 degrees Celsius.
Celsius. Which I know zero's freezing and 100's boiling.
Yeah.
I don't really know the variation of
It changed. Forever I thought that it was like, well, so if it's 2 degrees, that means it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And if it's 4 degrees, that means it's 36 or whatever. But I was totally wrong on that. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh fuck, I've been a dumbass for since school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, on more levels than one, I reckon. But yeah, the that was a good trip. It's a damn good trip.
Well, and it's got like, I mean, I got to meet some of those guys at the Lone Star 600, but that's a good group of guys, all in all.
It's a good group of people, and there's a lot of them that we haven't made it over here that are really good guys, and that I mean, hell, just like Donna's his dad. You seen him at the end of the one a couple weeks ago, and he's just in a good mood. He wants to do race car shit, and I hung out with him for a lot of the time I was over there, because when I first got there, Donna's was at work for that whole week, and do the weekend and stuff. So the first few days I was there, and I wasn't at their house 30 minutes, and he pulled in to work on the Mint Pig on the 308 there, and I said, well, hell, I'll come help him, So I went in there, and we started doing body panels. I think within a couple hours, I was over there painting stuff, and
that's fun.
Getting fiberglass on me, because all the bodies is fiberglass, so we're cutting out fender wells and making the body right.
Yeah, so that's fun when you can fall right in there and
yeah. Those cars are totally different than what we got going on. They're like unibody cars, rear wheel drive unibody cars. So there was a lot of, like, at the track. Every time my car got messed up, I was pretty much a parts guy.
Yeah.
Let me get the tire, and then tell me what else you need. So I was the tool guy, and I was going to grab parts.
TJ, you should have had it converted before we got on the podcast.
Yeah, man, you know how I run. I'm not going to do nothing until it's last minute, and even then, I might not still do it.
But that's one thing. Like, I kind of come from a Camaro era of those unibody cars. We weren't even allowed my car out here.
Yeah.
Larry Childress that built it, like, he tied the front and rears together.
Yeah.
And they made him cut that out, and you had to do it inside above the body, the floor pan, but
no, that's too safe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tying it together is much too safe. You guys aren't going to hurt yourself bad enough. So,
yeah.
So if you ever look, and it's just really crudely, you can see where he had it tied together and then had to cut it out. Like he didn't grind it, nothing, just torched 6 inches out of there so it wasn't connected anymore and called it good. Yeah, kind of crazy stuff.
A lot of those guys are telling me, like, like around here we'll have like people have like metric frames stacked up, and they'll have like the shells. They'll go get the shells of the cars. So if they junk one, they just pull out a shell. I guess they swap everything, cage and everything back over to the other one.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of more people over there that are building their own stuff than over here. Like it feels like the '90s to me a little bit, because you don't see a lot of like chassis brands and people talking about chassis brands and stuff. It's a lot of people doing their own work, and I appreciate that. I like that. So and I mean, there's nice stuff over there. There's stuff that's getting built and stuff. But like Donna's, his car's 20 something years old. They got it built when he was in high school.
But one thing, you're going to those different shops and stuff, and I don't know. Obviously, they're not all like that, but I mean, everywhere you went, like they had pretty nice shops that were set up and to do stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't know if it was just the people I was getting brought to or not, but they're a lot more organized than me or you. Yeah. I'll say that. Donna's shop. He don't have a real big shop, but he utilizes every inch of it. I mean, I think he had like 4 cars in there when our 2 cars was in there, and it's pretty small. I can barely get 4 cars in my shop, and I got a pretty good size shop. It's just full of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of really cool people over there with a bunch of cool shit. We went over there to the Hillsville engineering guy that did our drive shaft after I had that drive shaft problem, and hell, he's everything's nice, and he's got lathes and all this kind of cool tools and machinery in there, and it was neat looking in there. I like that kind of stuff. I don't have some of that stuff, but I want some of it. I don't know what I would do with it.
Yeah, right.
I'd probably be doing dumb shit, but look, I made a butt plug for somebody. Whatever. I probably wouldn't be doing the drive shafts. I'd be doing something dumb.
So yeah,
he does a lot of like the rear ends for people, like that one that was in the video there that I posted. He had shortened it, narrowed it up so a guy could get some wider tires on a car and stuff. So I love that kind of shit. So
when I drove for David Hayes at A1 Spring, there was a lathe sitting over in the corner, and we were doing late night shit on one of the cars, and we got down to the point where we didn't have a pilot shaft bushing, and so we're there, and like I hadn't been there long enough, and I'm like, does that lathe work? And they go, it's wired up. Nobody's ever used it, but it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is there any tooling to it? And they had a whole cabinet, and just so they had a little bit of brass stock, and so I was able to make us a pilot shaft bushing, and it probably wasn't perfect, but it was enough to get it. Yeah, it worked.
It worked for that night.
Yeah, it worked until they got something better.
Yeah,
and that made Dave was happy because that lathe had finally, and it was a nice piece of equipment. I don't know how much he had paid. We had the very best of stuff.
Yeah,
there for, and he wasn't shy about getting you good stuff, good equipment, and I learned that right away when the other driver there one time was talking about tires. I'm like, no, these will work, and he's like, no. If you get second place, Dave doesn't want to hear if you'd have had better tires.
Yeah.
He's like, just get you some tires. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
Hard to complain about that.
Yeah, definitely. But it was fun to have.
I've drove for people where it's like, I'm like, man, I wish we would have had better tires. We could have done better. You should fucking buy them.
Yeah.
It's got a plug in it.
Right.
Like we don't like who does this? We fit this as good as we can get on this shit.
Yeah, when I run my own IMCA modified, I had tires with tubes in them, tires with plugs in them. Although I did finish one night because I had a tube in there. I tacoed the wheel back, like I put a big V in it, and a piece of the tube was hanging out, but it held enough air that we were able to finish on it. So that was
we had trouble with a tire. One of my spares for Donna's car, we stuck a tube in it, and he was like, just there's some tubes in there. You need to put it in, and I'm over there thinking, I don't remember the last time I put a tube in anything. I'm hoping I'm doing this right. Fuck. I pulled the other one out. It's got baby powder everywhere. I'm like, all right. I think I'm supposed to put some powder in there. But
gotta powder it and all that fun stuff. But
yeah, I'm not accustomed to the tubes. I've done a bunch of other dumb shit though, but putting screws in them, so instead of a beadlock, and all that shit.
I went to Merced one time in my modified and I built it from the ground up, and so we. I can't think of the guy's name now. His car number was 33, but he was from Ventura, California. Merced was probably 4 or 5 hours away from there. And I was actually leading the state points at that point. And this guy, he could have been a comedian. He was great fun, just a hilarious guy. And we were going to go out for the main, and he was just like, you don't have any better tires to put on than that? And I'm like, no. And he goes, I've been watching. He goes, I know you're leading state points and stuff. Yeah. And he goes, that's what you're going to run. And I go, yeah. He goes, when are you coming back here? And so I told him whenever it was. And he goes, you're going to think it's Christmas. And I did, because the shit that he brought for pull-offs, they didn't even bother mounting them back up. He bought brand new wheels and tires. He didn't dismount tires off of wheels. And so half the shit that he brought was maybe had a race or two on it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. So Austin is giving you hell here.
Yeah. Let's see. Them arms need some sun. Man, I've been in fucking winter. Give me a break. I know your ass got the same fucking tan lines.
Skinny, it wasn't Johnny. I love Johnny Baptista too, Mr. Smooth. But no, it wasn't. This guy was from Ventura, and he had super nice stuff. But yeah, good old Johnny. I remember him. Johnny Baptista had a modified that he had managed to shape somewhat like a 57 Chevy on the back. It looked like a 57 Chevy with no front fenders or hood. It was pretty cool piece too.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, I do, but I'm wider. He's over in California right now. He made it over there. He was Snapchatting me as he was driving over, and it's like, yeah, made it like 10 more hours. I'm like, what the fuck?
I told him, I said, I know enough people in California, because he come over and spent the better part of a day with me one day. And I said, I know enough people in California that if you ever just want to buy a shit box and leave it out there, we'll find you a place to leave it so that you can fly back and forth.
Yeah.
And drive around.
Yeah, at least save something. That's what I told him. He drove all the way over. I said, dude, I could have been to Australia by now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rough drive. Skinny says we put those tires on, and I believe I finished ahead of him. I think he's right too. But we won't brag too much about that. But yeah, do that drive. It just gets grueling. To me, the more you do it, the worse it gets. All of my trips back and forth out here, and then some of those last ones were just so damn rough.
Oh, the flight sucks too.
And
it's what's crazy is it's like 3.5, 4 hours or whatever from Houston to California. Where I've landed in different places over there, going over there, but it's like, it sucks because it's a smaller plane. Mm-hmm. It's always packed, and yes, that flight actually sucked worse than the 16-hour flight.
So I have it's a funny, and I don't know, maybe I mentioned it before, but I got a lesson on judgment on a flight. Um, I was like, I used to be around the racehorse industry, but anyway, I was flying out to California. I had a seat. It was one of those planes that had 3 seats on one side and 2 on the other. There was nobody in my row. I thought everything was great. And this black family walks on, big gold chains like rappers. And I just be honest, like I was just like I knew I had the only seat, and I thought I might get my ass beat before it was. Like I hope this guy's in a good mood.
I'm really redneck for right now.
And so he sits down, and this is how long ago it was. Once they get in the air, they come through and they're offering us drinks.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah. She asked him, and he says no. She asked me, and I go, I'll take a Coors Light. And he goes, they got that on here? He goes, yeah. And he goes, that's what I want too. So then we got to drinking together. And we're on some kind of little, both of us have these puddle jumper flights. And so I think we had to transfer twice between Texas and Oklahoma, or Texas and California, I'm sorry. But as soon as we stopped, there was no assigned seats. So he's like, man, come up here and sit with the family. It turns out that they had racehorses. They like their trainer was right on the backside. I knew him. And we had a blast, man. The rest of the way out there, we just had the greatest time ever. And they invited me to watch their horse run. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I had somebody picking me up. But just a lesson in first appearance was not, but I was glad that we did because we had a great time. Made for a great flight,
Yeah, it's weird. You meet different folks in all types of places like that, and it's always cool. It's like going to Australia. I go all the way over there just to meet people just like us.
Yeah, they had like traded other livestock for their racehorse, and he run them out over $1 million he had won or something. So they were just really, really humble people with a lot of gold on.
Can't blame them.
They were just living their best lives, and the whole family. It was all you get up there and they just, Mama, this is Lee, and it was great.
Hell yeah.
So I took your car racing while you were gone, and I know we've talked about it when you were in Australia, but I had no luck with it whatsoever, and I struggle with it, but we did have a good time. We had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed when your dad and Jesse went to Boot Hill, and we had really good time.
It's always a good time over there at those big shows. Yeah. We always have a good time. I was getting Snapchats of the good time.
Yeah,
it was like by that time it was almost late afternoon or something. I don't know what I don't remember exactly what time it was. It might have been midday or something. But I'm like, Jesus, it's way late for these guys.
Oh yeah.
Looking at my little conversion deal or world clock on my phone, and I was like, yeah, it's like 2-3 in the morning. These guys are sending me Snapchats.
I am not. I may go there to watch. I may not make that. I got things going on, and I'm just kind of trying to take care of some things here.
Yeah. I haven't. I'm still on the fence on it. I want to go, but just getting back, I'm still trying to get everything still lined out, and then seeing how rough people were driving at these big shows the last few weeks has me like really not wanting to go to a big show.
That
I ain't got the money to fix shit.
That's so. I got some stuff going on here, and there's got to be some changes I work through. You offered for me to run your car, and that's what I'm just like. I can't take it and tear it up right now. Like we got through what we got through pretty good. I got it back. We got to get that spring back, whatever Jesse did with it, or put another one in there.
I think it might be in Colton's car. Is what he said. I don't know. We'll find it.
But anyway, we got to get. But other than that, I got your car back good and ready for you if you want to take it. But yeah, I'm just like traveling with it and whatever, and I got through everything pretty good as far as it went. But I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just um, I'm gonna get all my stuff taken care of here, and I guess my next big focus will be the Little Tex deal up there at Rocket, kind of a test and tune.
That's kind of what I'm wanting to do too, and I'm trying to get. I need to get enduro stuff ready, and I got that Crown Vic that I got to put a cage in, and I got to make money at some point. So,
Rodney, we can probably do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I know we're on. We got it on YouTube.
Yeah. So on my YouTube on Dragon Slayer Industries,
which we're live on right now.
Yeah, we're live there also right now on Dragon Slayer Industries on YouTube, and then tomorrow morning, I'm able to take mine because YouTube records it as it's going along, and I put it on a playlist that says podcast beside it. Not that I named it; they say it's podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know how all that works, but this is some of my best hourly views per month. Is this part of it? Somebody's watching it. After it's not live anymore, I don't always get a bunch of live viewers on mine, but people are watching it in podcast form, I guess, on my YouTube.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I guess if we had enough interest that I could figure out how to get it on Spotify or iTunes or something. I've had one on there before with Billy Simpkins, and that was years ago. But
I don't know what all that entails. I'm on Spotify a bunch. I've listened to several podcasts on there, but I wonder, Rodney. Are you kin to Travis Miller? He drives a sprint car. He'll be over here somewhere around the same time that Donna's is, and Donna's is going to go up and watch him race sprint cars for a little bit.
Nice.
We wouldn't watch him play basketball while we were there.
How soon? When's Donna's coming?
The 8th.
Oh, soon.
Oh yeah, they booked the flight like the day before I left. It was 3 weeks.
So okay.
Yeah. So I gotta get their motor home out. I gotta get a battery for the pit lift. I gotta.
The only bummer.
Check it.
Too bad he wasn't just a few days earlier so he could go out on the boat for the 4th of July. That is an awesome sight.
Yeah.
Being out in the middle of this big old lake on the 4th of July.
Yeah, it was badass last year for sure. I've been to the lake a bunch, but been out on the boat, on your boat specifically, you know. But they do want to ride on it. I said, y'all got a day where you're in town and we're not doing nothing. I said, we'll go out on the boat. I said, I would love to take you out on the boat.
Yes.
And then what was cool is we was when we was over there one day, Ramon, which you met, the announcer, which he's coming back over too, I think in September. He took us up to his hometown, which is about 3 hours away from Donna's, and we rode on a real steamboat, paddle boat from that was like 100 years old or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mine, we watched the band over there at the resort the other day.
Yeah.
And I left my fish finder on because I was telling your dad wanted to know how warm the water was.
Yeah.
So I turned the fish finder on. So when I went back over there the next morning, it just, because I have a full-size battery and it's just a lawnmower engine.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite have enough oomph to fire it up. So I had to run back over here, grab another battery, and
oh man.
Rodney says no relation, but love to be on the crew.
But holler at him. He's over. I don't remember exactly where he's at. Lilydale, maybe.
So you're getting a bit of shit from your buddies here.
What a piece of work. You know? What a piece of work there, Dave. This is the large. Okay, I don't know. You fucking dick.
No, it's great.
Yeah. You wait till you get over here. No, wait, I'll get you one.
when I'm on the boat, that's always where the cuts,
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, my skin is just pale, and you can see just exactly always.
You're gingerly.
Yes, I am, and I'm white in what sees the sun every day. I wear shorts every day, probably 360 days a year. There's very seldom that I put pants on.
It's gotta be cold enough for insulated overalls for you to wear pants.
Yeah. Well, and I guess so most of the time, yeah, I think maybe talking about putting those on, I do more, but I usually wear my shorts under those too.
Yeah.
And but and my legs look white as a ghost, but when I take my shoes and socks off, my skin's almost clear. Like you can see the veins.
Yeah, put sunglasses on. That's how Dad's legs are too. I always give him hell.
Yeah, Dave, get over here so we can take the boat out.
Yeah, we're gonna take the boat out. I think he's his schedule changed about 8 times while I was over there for over here. But I think he's going to run some more Texas races than what he had originally had planned. Cool. So he'll be around. I said, well, if that's what you're doing, I'll either load up the car and come race with you, or just come pit crew.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. I think he's wanting to go to like Heart of Texas and Kennedale and RPM and stuff. So we'll figure that out once he gets here, and shit, I'll go pit crew for him.
Yeah.
I'll buff tires. Give Renee a chance to relax and drink a margarita.
Heck yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I got through. We did quite a bit of racing, and I only cut one tire.
I've seen it.
That was
you made you a little mad out there.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to, those things. Have you ever cut the sidewall out of one?
Down on purpose.
They cut amazingly. There's a line on there, and if you just take a razor knife and go, they cut amazingly easy.
Even with that thick ass sidewall, huh?
They're not as thick as you think once you cut them. Right there on that line is what would be the rubber, the tread, I'm going to say, even though they're slicks. And there's a little line, and you cut on that line, and then just take and cut through it, and they lay out, and it give me a place to dispose of some, and it helped me where I can, because that's a low spot where water gathers, and all that rain we had was a mess.
Well, that's while I was gone, all I could see was videos and pictures of all the rain. Everybody texted me, man, it's flooding over here, and it looks like it's flooding over there. It's like, no, just while we were racing, it was rain. Literally, it didn't rain all the way up until we went racing, and it was just kind of like, it was kind of that rain that you're like, you're still standing in it.
Yeah.
But it was just so persistent that you couldn't get away from it.
Yesterday, Logan, my son, and Cody, Stacy's son, they took the kayaks up the road here, and I had to laugh. It was like a cartoon. I run up to get some steaks to cook, and it was dry, sun shining here.
Yeah.
And where they were, it was like a cartoon, like it's cloud rain just following them. The road was wet where they'd put in, and as I was driving by, I looked out there, and they were getting rained on and stuff. It was kind of funny. But you in Texas here, we get localized rain sometimes. You can be just driving down the road and see the line where the rain started.
Yeah, I remember as a kid on the school bus, I was probably 15, and we were headed down this county road, and on one side of the bus it was raining, the other side it wasn't. And then we had to turn around. It's at the end of somebody's house where we turn around. So they made the turn like this. It's like one half of the bus isn't raining, the back half is. And then it was the opposite side was raining. It's crazy. It was the weirdest thing. It was right down the center line of that road. I've never for like 2 miles. So that was a weird thing. It was like it was following the road.
What else do we got going?
Let's see. We got that. What's that 100-lap race called?
The Little Tex.
The Little Tex.
Little Tex 100.
When is that again?
I think it's in August. I don't even know if they got a set date for it yet or not.
I think I was thinking August, but
yeah,
I got to see because I know I'm going to be gone. I'm leaving out on like maybe July 26th or 27th, maybe for a week. Headed up to Wisconsin to the Little Dream Race which I think it's on a Monday or Tuesday or something. But it's like their street stock race that's it's crowd funded, right? So I went there a few years ago, Hot Carl and Tito, and the whole time, like they have a certain purse they put up, the track puts up, and the whole time they're working the crowd, pumping it up. Everybody's donating $1 here, $2, whatever, and it got up to like $29,000 that year. 1 day show, no support classes, street stock, Lesotho street stock class, and it was badass. It was a badass show, man.
That's pretty. I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, and it's cool for people to like do that.
Yeah. Well,
stuff and help out.
It wasn't just people crowdfunding for the win, but they're paying for other positions and like hard lucks and second and top 5 or you get 13th, that sort of thing. And it was a really neat deal. I'd love to see a tracks like that somewhere down here do something similar.
So out in Bakersfield and Santa Maria, there's people that have kind of taken it on as a personal thing to help out, and a lot of times they'll set up a deal for and gather sponsors for if you're leading on lap 5, lap 10, or they'll get every lap of a race and try and get somebody to sponsor that, or sometimes people will want to sponsor 5th place on lap 5, or they're maybe their car number in a different division's 23 or something. Sponsor 23rd on lap 23, or whatever. And it's all fun. It kind of helps everybody out.
Well, they do stuff they do stuff similar like that. Even the Chili Bowl has some stuff like that, and I want to say Gateway did. But so back 10 years ago, it was one of the, if it wasn't the first, it was the second of the Mike Parker Memorial Race, and this is when it was called the Factory Stock 50. And it was a 50 lap, and at that time I think it was probably the biggest race. It might be the same year they started the King of the Hill, I don't know, but it was like 5,000 to win or whatever. Lots of factory stocks there. It was at Timberline Speedway, and Dad ends up leading. It was such a badass event for Dad because he was back then, man. He was hard to beat. He had such a good car and stuff, behind him, and his health was a lot better, obviously. So he was really the man then. He kicks everybody. He'll kick everybody's ass now, but back then he was really kicking everybody's ass, and people loading back up, kicking ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, he goes through the alphabet soup after a DQ. He had a spare trailer arm that had been cut and welded back together. Even though the bolt hole length was right, they still DQ'd him on it. So we changed that, and he goes back out there, starting at the back, up to the next one, up to the next one, up to the next one, and then ends up leading the majority of the feature. And they had a deal like that where it was like $100 every lap you lead. Well, in a 50-lap race, you lead like 40 of them motherfuckers.
Right.
That's pretty good money.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was probably $5,000 to win. If anybody's on here listening that remembers how all that was, please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I want to say it was like $5,000 to win, and he's done led a good 40 of the laps, and it was coming right to the very end of the race, and it started raining a little bit, and they kept it green. Well, we didn't know Dad's power steering had been out for 15 laps.
Oh, wow.
And he's just out there holding on. You're like, damn, he's smooth. But you know how it is if you don't have power steering. You get smooth. You don't have a choice. Get smooth or get the fuck off the track.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, once that rain hit, and we were running slicks then. We couldn't groove the tires in, so it was just slicks. And, man, he just couldn't catch it in time and looped it. I still think he came back up and got he still got up there pretty good, but I think he ended up with all total winnings there. It was more than the guy that won the race.
That's pretty cool.
And I always thought that was a neat deal. I like that kind of stuff. If you do a race like that, and you can get $100 lap, sponsors.
So while you were gone, I wasn't real good at getting our sponsors in, so we better get them in. And it's completely my fault. But
well, it's not like I remind you all the time anyway. I don't know what you were doing. We'll blame Brad.
Yeah, I know.
Brad and Logan.
Yeah.
Skinny's Automotive, man. I was super happy to have his name on the car this year. We put a brand new fender on the car because I fucked the other one up last year, and stuck his sticker on there. And there were several people who goes, man, that flows with the car good. Like it just looked good on there. And so I was pretty pumped to have him on there. And we also stuck him on the roof because they was having a drone out there.
Yeah.
And I never seen it, but I know they said it was out there. So I don't know how much it got seen. But we had all the other sponsors stuck on the roof as well. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, we didn't do the watch party because it just rained. And
well, like I think I'd messaged y'all and was like, don't watch. I sucked. Yeah. It was shit. Don't do it. But
yeah, if you're out in Bakersfield, California, Kern County out there, get with Skinny with all your automotive needs. Did you see he had a customer make a big post about his shop and she was just like, one thing that I love about going to Skinny's Automotive to get my car done is it's like going to a car show.
Yeah.
She took, I think there was like 25 pictures that she had taken, and some of them were doubles of the same vehicle and whatever.
Yeah.
But she just walked around his shop taking pictures of car. He really enjoys doing classic car, show car type stuff.
I don't blame him. I was raised around classics, and man, I love them. I love the hot rods.
She made a big post about that, and so that was
I had
fun.
to go back and look because I want to see what all he's got going on over there.
And we got the Addicted to Dirt.
Yeah, I had my Addicted to Dirt hat on the whole time I was over there, and other than when I had to wear a beanie for my fucking ears. But I had several comments on it and stuff, and I told Dave I had to get him hooked up with them when they get over here. Big shout out to Addicted to Dirt. They was helping me sell some merch, some of these big shows while I was gone. Can't thank them enough for that.
And I made him a metal sign.
Yeah.
And somebody at Boot Hill wanted to buy it, so he finally sold it to him. And so now he's got metal signs that don't have the performance race wear on them, but he's like, just make me a few of them, and if anybody wants them, I'll sell them. I'm like,
if not, they look good sitting out there. Yeah.
So I went and he asked for red, blue, and black, and then I got to thinking. I thought, I have some bright colors, so I made a pink and a green and an orange the other day.
Those things were popping pretty good. Yeah, I seen the pictures and stuff of them. They look really good.
But definitely shopA2D.com is his deal, and
Altex there.
Altex.
Give Altex a big shout out. Dad, with all this rain, man, he's been having hell getting some stuff done. But I tell you what, he's got our driveway and stuff patched up pretty good from all the rain.
Yeah.
Our shop's up on that big old hill, and it's just at some point I'd like to get asphalt put out just in the driveway, but man, that water gets flowing down through there, and it'll wash. It don't matter what we've done. We've put down rocks and clay and mix of stuff and everything. It still will get out of there. So Dad can fix it up.
You guys are not always easy on that road either. You guys test and tune.
We might get a little wheel spin.
I've just heard people leaving the shop and with street vehicles and.
So I remember one Easter. Or that main driveway used to not be asphalt. The county did that years and years ago. They never done anything else with it. But I remember years and years ago, this might have been 20 years ago now. We were having Easter up at Nana's right there at the top of the hill, and anyway, Dad's got his old hot stop, and it's the one sitting out the shop. It's the blue and white one sitting over there on the edge. And he done had him probably a few Crown and Cokes or something like that, and he cranks her up, and he idles it over, and then he takes it on down the driveway, down the highway, and when he comes back up, I wish we would have had camera phones back then, dude, because when he come by, and that car had a little lift bar and shit on it, and you just see the left front tire like this high off the ground, like he could have knocked the mailbox down with the tire. Just you know, but he lands. He kicked the fucking left rear spring out of it. He hooked up way too much on that asphalt. Oh man, it was everybody out there is like hunting Easter eggs. That
Yeah.
Turning $8,000 up the driveway.
So that must have been we had the other stuff up, but
oh yeah, he made it back up to 7th.
Made it back up to 7th.
Which was still impressive with no power steering at like 10 to go. So yeah. Dad always has that luck at big shows. I seen him lead the Louisiana State Championship in the hot stocks one time. He's a half a track of everybody in a car built by high school. Takes the white flag, the motor grenades, blows into 4 pieces. I mean, talking 4 big fucking pieces. Lots of other smaller pieces. You made it smaller.
I don't know. I didn't have it on the comments when that come up.
Did I pull my dick out?
Whoa! Whoa.
That must be talking about the logo.
Maybe.
Dad needs to come out there with Austin, do some work. I don't think Dad would like it out there, to be honest.
He'd be all right.
Yeah, you never know. He likes money, so he might. Me and John watching on location. Y'all better get to work. Y'all gonna have to be finding another job. Over in Wascom.
And there's old John Boy.
John Boy. He's over in Wascom. I'm gonna race your car this weekend. That way I don't tear mine up, John. Oh, the Skinny Automotive.
No, I didn't make it smaller.
No, you're thinking of TJ. You're thinking of the
Addicted to Dirt one.
The comprehensive.
Oh,
or the big old screens one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comprehensive.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, man. He also helped out on getting me hooked up with the helmet and stuff. He's actually up next. We'll have the full bore. If you get, he's a dealer for them over here. I think he's the only dealer in the States for them. And man, did they not hook me up on a badass helmet for one, and a really badass suit. I had a lot of compliments on it, and the damn thing fit perfect. I even had it over clothes, and it still fit fine. So
yeah,
I'm real pumped about that.
He helped me out at Boot Heel. They my earbuds just up and quit working. I didn't know if it was my
radio or
my receiver or my earbuds, but they just pulled one right out of a brand new thing, and then the next day tear offs and all that stuff. So I went down there and tried to use him, and he gave me a good deal, and I wasn't bucking for that, but I was just going to use him because he helps us,
Right. Well, that's the way I like to do stuff. But then you got people like him. If he likes you, he's going to help you out either way. He don't care if he loses a little money. That's why we like him, because he's a good dude.
And we got we got comments coming up too, so I'm going to switch back over. But
can't even sleep thinking about the car. I don't blame you there, John Boy. But full bore racewear, man. Like, that suit's badass, and they're pretty damn reasonable on price. I had to get a good price on that. I'll bring the suit up one day or something for the live and look at it, because I don't know, my reception wasn't the greatest when I had it on before, but
these Devil Race parts, they're a part of that.
Yes, the same company. So if you're Tasmania and Australia. Devil Race Parts right there in Tasmania, and they follow them on Facebook. They're constantly posting stuff that they got in stock, new or used. Yeah. And then you can also go through them for the full bore racewear, which is custom fire suits, helmets, gloves, shoes, just about anything. The underwear you can get socks.
I actually drug one out from years ago, and I think it fits me better now than it did back then. I'm not for sure how that happened. Because
is it the one that you said was too big?
Yeah. Used to, it felt like and I don't know how.
Maybe you just wear your clothes looser now.
I'm thinner now than I was back then. So I don't know, or maybe it's got washed in hot water.
Maybe you're fatter now than you thought you were.
I don't think so, but because I'm under 200 pounds now, and that's. But anyway. you have every right to race my car.
I couldn't do it though because I can't even fix mine, so
Right.
I can afford to fix mine.
That's why I'm scared to race yours.
That's always the trouble when you race somebody else's stuff, and especially if you're like one of us where it's like, no, if I tear it up, I'll fix it. Some people's like, no, if you're driving for me, I'm paying for everything,
right?
Which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I love that. But like if in our situations where it's like, yeah, race it, but you tear it up, you're gonna have to pay for it because I can't.
Yeah.
But if it's your car, the son of a bitch can sit there until you can.
Exactly.
But if it's not your car, then you're like, well, I guess I'll just go broke until they get their car fixed. And there's no sense in putting ourselves in that situation.
Yeah. You know? And like yours,
it already looks broke.
Well, but I and it's not a super big deal, right? But I do feel good that I mounted that alternator on it and it works. And
Arthur Drove brought that by, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, he just brought it by and dropped it off. And you'd talked about putting one on there, and then I put aluminum hood on it and got that off of there for you. So I'm like, not that it's a big deal, but I feel like it's as good. I'm giving it back. It's as good, or maybe even a little better than when I got it.
Well, since I've got that car, I don't think something hadn't been improved before the next time it was raced.
Yeah.
And probably before the next time I race it, if I don't race it this weekend, something else will be changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the good thing about that car, and it just keeps getting better. I was actually thinking about that hood the other day because it's white, and you put the big red decal on it. And I was thinking, I wonder if I can find some paint that's the same color red, because that's the faded, brushed on red paint that's on that car. It's nothing special. I was like, wonder if I could just find something that would be close and paint it, and then just pull the the Wayland sticker off, and then it would be back normal.
That'd be the mask. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be badass.
So I thought about it because I was wanting to do that, but I'm like, I don't want to lose the hood.
Right.
You know.
Let's do big old screens.
Big old screens, man. He also helped me big time getting over to Australia. Good buddy of mine. He's down in South Texas, but he's traveled as far as Florida with the big screen. He was at the 10,000 race. Jesse sent me pictures of them hanging out, and that thing is so monstrous, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's not a show without the big O, because that thing he can if you're at an event, he can live stream whatever you're going. I remember he was talking to somebody one time when I was with him about a golf tournament, and he would film the tournament to put on there, and then whoever's in the front, he can keep up with all that kind of stuff. He's got all that equipment.
Yeah.
So that's really badass. Every time he's at the races, though, it brings to a whole nother level. He'll put it to where you can see it in the pits, and at his races, and you can see, you know how it is when you're in the pits, especially at a big show and you got to park in the back 40. You don't know what the hell's going on. The live streaming service might be a minute behind, so you don't know who's on the track or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can see what's happening a lot of times better out there. And he'll have his own in-car cameras and all that kind of stuff. And then during the day, he's putting on Stroker Ace and shit, or whatever college football game going on, or whatever people are wanting to see during the day. So that's pretty cool.
And does he have one of the things? And I don't remember where I first went, but I got Scott Schweitzer at Bakersfield Speedway had an FM transmitter.
Yeah.
So, and they hooked it into their PA system for the pits, so that you could just put a radio on right there and tune it into that transmitter station.
Yeah.
And get all because the speaker systems aren't real great. And I don't know, maybe now you could do Bluetooth or something that way, or
I don't know.
I'm just thinking, like, if you had it, but in your pits, like you're talking.
Well, they was using the speakers on there with their mic going, whatever line up, this and that, and the monstrous speakers on that damn screen.
Yeah.
So you could hear it all the way where we were pitted in Corpus, and we were pretty far back that one race. So yeah, I think it's very advantageous. comprehensive again.
And did I hit him again?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we hit everybody.
Yeah, I think we got everybody.
Got
It's first time in a while. So
yeah. Also, don't forget Dragon Slayer Industries.
Yeah, there's us, the Infield Tractor Tire and Dragon
yeah.
Slayer Industries.
Yeah. Buddy GT, GT. He's got a new job, and I'd shared that video of that flag you'd made. And he was like, "Man, that thing's badass." I was like, "Oh yeah, you can make anything." And he was like, "I think I'm going to get him to make us a big sign for behind the counter whenever they get the store finished up."
Hell yeah!
So I know they're still getting that all built up. So, yeah. So that, I mean, obviously you can do anything.
Yeah, I try. I had a club come in, and they got a new clubhouse, a motorcycle club.
Yeah.
And so they had me. I made a stencil with their logo, and it's got a flag in it, and they're going to burn it on the top of the. So, and one thing, I tried to really put some thought in it, and I made them two sets of stars that were tied together with the bars going different directions, so they could lay one set in, burn it, lay the other set in, and because I mean it had taken them all day to lay out their 50 stars or whatever,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward. Hopefully they send me a picture of how it turned out. I did.
That is a pretty good idea, though. Setting it over and then burning around it. You're saying, yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, you're gonna do that, and then like I say, one set of stars were tied together with bridges going 90 degrees straight up and horizontal, and then the others were diagonal so that they can burn it one way. And then that was going to leave lines in my mind, and then put the other set on and cover those lines up, but not burn the stars, hopefully.
Right.
So
good idea.
Any 600 news?
Yeah, we're going, Mom. That's what we're doing.
I mean, no more than last week when we had.
Yeah, you had the guy on here.
Had Brad, the 600 guy, on here.
Yeah. So yeah, SuperTech 600 coming up first week in October. 10,000 to win each night, 300 laps each night. Jackson James Band's going to be playing in our pit Friday night for the pit party.
We should try and live stream that somehow. I wonder if we get good enough reception, or if somebody wants to.
If it'd be cool if Big O Screens is there.
Yeah,
we can get him to
maybe just
get him to. Cool. Yeah, we can get linked up with him on that. That'd be cool.
That would be real cool, because I tell you, we went down, and your dad came, Brad came. We had other friends there.
Brad went to that too.
Yeah, down in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. He come, him and Trent and their whole family, Heather.
yeah.
And Maddie,
I think something like that. I don't know. I've never met his.
Anyway, so I think they really had a good time, and everybody that was there and hadn't seen him was just like, man, he's awesome, and he's young, but he's driving. Like, I don't think he's turning a gig down anywhere. Like if you look at his travel dates and follow his page,
yeah, he's probably somewhere right now.
They're getting it on, and that's awesome. And so hopefully that we can get him some live coverage on something while he's there, and hopefully that helps him out.
It might be our personal pages or something,
right?
But we'll definitely do something.
Yeah,
because how fucking Facebook is with music rights.
Yeah, that's true too.
And so I don't want them to fucking kick it off because of that. But if you're not monetized, then you can kind of get away with a little more shit. So we'll do something for sure. If we do that, then I'll definitely share it to the page from there.
Yeah,
however we do it. But we'll definitely try doing something like that. That's a good idea. Wish we could do it with the 360, but we haven't got that nailed down.
No,
but that would be a cool one. Then you could get on there and watch it.
Yeah,
watch it live on the 360.
Yeah, maybe we'll work on that too a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but definitely. I'm looking forward to the pit party and that. And Brad, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy visiting with him and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know him much. I knew who he was, obviously. and I mentioned it when they said my car was light. I was glad to see him show up because
Yeah.
I felt like he was a voice of reason, even when I didn't know him.
Yeah.
You know, and just hanging out and visiting with him before the show, after the show. Um, he's an awesome guy and a very caring individual.
Yeah.
Really,
He cares about the sport for sure.
He cares about the sport and he cares about people and just as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a hard ass.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
That part of it, but yeah, he's definitely a cool guy.
He's a good dude. I'm glad that we're all friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he came on and got to fill in for me a little bit but gives more people some insight on what the 600 is all about.
See, he sent me a text Friday or Saturday, just to kind of check up on me and all that, and I thought that was very nice of him.
Oh yeah, that's good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that was, and he did it. We didn't have a whole ton of comments, but those shows have done good too.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll have a ton of comments and the views don't reflect it.
And I've been, like you say, a few things I hadn't been keeping up on my social media. So I didn't have a guest for us to come on here. You've been kind of just getting back in the swing of things. So next week we have to.
Next week we will put our heads together and find somebody to come on.
Find a good guest because the people really seem to like that too.
The people want the guest. So if you're watching this, you have a suggestion for a guest.
Yeah, definitely
drop it. Tag them in it, so we can get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be interested. We'll find somebody that's got something going on.
And I wanted to bring Chris Kearns in. Well, Brad was here because Chris is a great promoter, and we were talking about bringing youth into the sport.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it done.
Well, maybe we can get a hold of him for next week.
Yeah.
Or sometime in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I would really like, if we do that, I would like Brad to come back because I would like to hear them bounce ideas off of each other.
Well, the good thing is Brad's like 10 minutes from here now, so we really could. Yeah,
he's like anytime, and he's definitely not shy to get on and speak and all that stuff. So that was fun and good. But yeah, maybe I'll talk to Chris and we'll see what the people say here.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know exactly what all or who all I got to come on. I'd like to get some more track promoters on like this, or race promoters like Brad and stuff, and get a little different perspective on stuff because we're the drivers and the fans. So I'd like to get a little different perspective on the racing stuff. Maybe we'll get our buddy Owen on here.
Yeah.
And see what all he's got cooking. He's always entertaining.
Chris always had what I thought were good ideas.
Yeah.
And he tries to be real stand up about. He's got philosophies that he goes by, and one of them is like cutting purses for not enough cars. And he's like, he tries within an inch of his life not to do that because he's like, I feel like you're punishing the guys that showed up for what the guys that didn't show up are doing.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I never. He doesn't like inverts because he's like, I don't want to punish anybody for going fast.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I never liked that either.
Yeah.
Like you go to an IMCA track in the middle of the year, you ain't never been there. If you could win everything, you're still starting towards the back. You're like, what the fuck is this all about?
Although my one IMCA modified win came like that, I just hopped in a guy's car and I did make it up through the heat, so I think I started 12th in the main because it was my only night of going there.
Yeah,
and made it.
I just hate that. That does not encourage people coming back.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because not everybody runs every week.
No,
point racing sucks.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
Because it adds more stress to it for less, back to you.
Yeah, and
costs a lot.
It costs a lot. We used to run but we had our class funded our own point series.
Yeah.
And But they paid well. They paid well weekly, and the thing about it was all kept up on. Everything was real transparent. So the racers paid an extra $50 a week into the points fund. But at the end of the night, there was how many cars showed up, how many cars paid into the point fund, because there was some cars there that didn't want to pay into our point fund, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We didn't require them to, but how many cars showed up, how many paid into the point fund, and where the point fund was sitting, and if it ended today, what first place through 10th would get, you know, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a neat deal.
That you know, and we put it on the website, and that way everybody knew exactly where it was building. Then it got taken over by IMCA for 1 year, and
it ruined it.
It kind of did, as far as that.
Yeah.
I saw the objective of making it a class that was unified and everything, but where the winner was getting of the point series was getting $5,000, they got 150 or something, which is like saying here's enough to pay next year's license, buy next year's IMCA license, and get you a 30-pack for your year of racing. You know, and but
no, man, IMCA money is back. It gives back to the racers.
Yeah,
it's for the racers.
Yeah, and I talk a lot of smack about IMCA. There's a guy named Paul Vetter that run our Western region.
Is he kin to Eddie?
Maybe. I never. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't have to play guitar, but Paul was a great guy, and I never. If he ever hears me talking smack about IMCA, I don't ever want to think it's personal, because he actually, when I was running IMCA, and I was traveling a lot, they send out the newspaper, and he always made sure I was in there, that my name was in there, something, because I was traveling so much, and it just made it nice I could post a picture of it and show kind of sponsors that being talked about a little bit, you know. But Paul was, and if he ever met you, he never forgot your name. He'd meet you one time, he'd see you 5 years later, and
I've met people 10 times and I still don't know their name.
I've met people and forgot their name before they got done saying it.
Oh, I'm immediate. It's a my name is, and it goes Charlie Brown adults.
I try and repeat it back and forth.
Yeah,
in there.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just forget it, and then I just hope that they say it again.
Right.
Hope somebody calls them.
So,
well, we've had about an hour now.
Yeah.
So now we'll wrap her up and start getting ready for whatever the hell else we got going on this week.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get our shit together and come back. We'll have a little more news, a little more going on.
Yeah.
And
I'll be a little more awake and adjusted.
We'll get a guest.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff.
Hell yeah.
But we do appreciate all of you that have been on here with us today, all the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all to all our sponsors. And I don't know what else.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Catch you later.
See you next